Major shout out to the YouTube family. Thanking God for another day. Big shout out to my man A on this video. God didn't say it. The prophet did. And man, I so feel you on this, and you want me to come do this video. Once again, man, it goes back to what Jesus said in Matthew 7 about the false prophets. Beware of these false prophets and how they're going to be dressed up in sheep clothing, but they really just raven wolves. And I feel you with this, and I feel your frustration because all we hearing about is prosperity. And people are so turned from the church because they tired of looking at the preachers getting rich. And ain't nobody else coming up. But you know what I like to say, man, I just did a video on this fake speaking in tongue and how people done got speaking in tongue books out now, and they got speaking in tongue schools out now. People telling you and showing you how to speak in tongue, trying to do God's gift. Now all of this ties in together, bro. Now you got these false prophets, these fake prophets. They done been around for a long time, and nothing against prophets. There are some real prophets out here because God do speak through people only to confirm to you that something God has already spoke to you. That's what ain't nobody catching, bro. Yeah. I don't get caught up in prophets. I don't have nothing against them, but I don't get caught up because God does speak to me directly. I'm that close with God. My personal relationship with God is that close because there's too many people prophet lying. Now I feel what you're saying. They prophesizing to you how you're gonna be so rich and wealthy. First of all, let's get this straight. Prosperity is not just all about money. Prosperity has to be tied in also with your health and your strength, being in good health. And people they always want to preach prosperity, they want to preach about it, but they don't want to tell the real side of prosperity. And they don't want to tell you how you keep prosperity. So I see what you mean, bro, because I done had false prophets prophesized to me all my life about what they see in their own eyes. You got people prophesizing for money now. But that's why Jesus said it the best in Matthew 7. Hey, I'm going to tell you something, man. These folks are playing some dangerous games, man. You more concerned about what's in folks' pocket and lying to them. Now they want you to buy salvation nowadays. They want us to pay for salvation. And Jesus died on the cross and said it is finished. But to the prophets, man, it ain't finished. To these prosperity preachers, it ain't finished. They want us to buy salvation. They won't actually think we can buy our way into heaven in so many ways. Man, don't get caught up in these false prophets. They lie to you. Now I'm going to say this loud and clear once again. The only thing a prophet does is confirm to you something that God has already spoken in your life. If it don't line up with what the word, what God says, man, don't listen at that junk. See, that's the happening thing now. Prophesizing and speaking in tongues. Prophesizing and speaking in tongues. And ain't now one of them going to get you into heaven. I'm sorry. Speaking in tongues don't have nothing to do with you getting into heaven. Prophesying don't have nothing to do with you getting into heaven. Too many people trying to be something higher than what God told them to be. Like I said in the other video, I know him. I ain't going to reveal his name, but I know somebody that always changed their name, look like every month. One minute he apostle. The next minute he evangelist. The next minute he's prophet. After that he's apostle. Then he's bishop. He caught up in names, man. And he really be brainwashing people. Telling people that they going to hell for not speaking in tongues. Man, some of these folks just need to sit down. But you know what? That's why he say you let the weeds and the tares grow together, because God gonna do the separating. See, we can't do nothing about it, but you can not be deceived by man, I tell you that. And man, this world is in trouble. But Jesus did, the book of John did tell us that Satan is the prince of this world. And he knows his time is winding down. And to these fake, see, it's the people that know that this go on, the ones get mad at these videos that I do, because they don't want to accept the fact that there are false prophets in this world. And there are fake speaking in tongues going on in this world. The people always get mad at me when I do videos like this, because we want the church to look so good. When the church look worse than the world now, man. Whole lot of people in church just jacked up. But they using religion to hide behind it. They using prosperity to make their own self rich. They using Malachi 3:8 to rob God. Tell you robbing God and you're going to be cursed. And all that is false information. You are not going to be cursed. But I ain't even going to get off on all that. I got too many videos up about Malachi 3:8. See, they always want to preach on prosperity. Man, I'm sick of it. I get off and around it, bro. I get off and around it, man. I check a prophet in a minute in a good way. I tell them, man, you get up out of my face. Don't come up to me telling me what you done saw in your own eyes. And then I like to call it the prophet game, man. The game that they use when they try to get to know you and learn everything about you. Then they know all your business. Then they want to take what you done told them and flip it back and mess your mind up. Because they know everything about you now. Now, it's easy for somebody to say that, well, I know what you're going through. You struggling and such. You know you got a car on the way. You done told them you got a new car on the way. And they going to take that and turn it right back around and prophesy it to you. And you sitting there believing it like a fool. Let me say this also. When God blesses you, he blesses you. That's why you struggle to get to your blessing. You don't get the blessing and then struggle. That's the part of you going through the struggle. Now, this is what these prophets do. They'll prophesize you something. Let's say you finna get a brand new car. Let's say the car note by $700-800 a month. A nice, expensive car. They prophesizing you a car. And it ain't came from God, but that the prophet done told you get in the car and you shouting and jumping and running around the church. And then you get the car and you stuck with it. You can't even afford the car. And then the prophet ain't even going to help you pay not one car note. That ain't no blessing. That came from the prophet. That came from the words out of the mouth of the prophet. Because if God bless you with something, it ain't going to be you ain't finna be no in debt behind it, because that's the purpose of it being a blessing. I wish folks could understand this. See, I just made about 10 prophets mad with this. Because I'm telling the truth, and God know I'm telling the truth. You don't listen to the prophet when they talking to you about stuff that they see. That's the first thing I let. Well, brother, guess what I see in the future for you? Guess what you see? Nah. And then you come telling me something that God ain't confirmed to me, you need to get out of my face. And I hope that these false prophets are looking at this video. Beware of the false prophets, people. Beware of these people faking with this speaking in tongue and got these speaking in tongue books out there and going to school to be taught how to speak in tongue. Man, I told you once again, we done took the word of God and deleted a whole lot of pages out of here, a whole lot of scriptures and chapters out of here, and now somebody's Bible maybe got 15 pages in it because everything else don't apply to them. False prophets, man, there's a lot of this going on. And I'll say this again, I don't have nothing against prophesying. I don't have nothing against speaking in tongues. See, one thing JT do is he stand up and he tells the truth. People don't want to hear the truth because they want to keep on using the advantage of the Bible to fit their own needs. God wasn't about all of this mess that they are doing. This is the truth. The Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth. Why would God prophesy you a brand new car and God know you can't afford it? Why would God prophesy you a big old 6-bedroom house, $600,000, $700,000 house, and know you can't afford it? And you sitting up there talking about, oh God. And here's the thing, I hate that these prophets do. You gotta have that faith. You gotta run around the church 3 times and jump around and believe it that it's coming in 2 weeks. They tell you the exact date it's coming on and everything. Boy, I tell you, man, folks, it's something else. They tell you to believe and have faith. That ain't faith, that's foolishness. You know how much money you make. You done got broke behind the prophet. Now you coming back to church mad because the prophet done told you to put this in church and believe in him pretty much in so many ways. I told you I get done like this all my life, and I still don't have nothing against prophets. As bad as prophets done fronted me out. But you know what I do now? I front them out themselves. Because if you don't want to be fronted out, don't front nobody else out. I done been in so many churches where they done put me in the front of the church and told me how much money I can give in, and told me how much done told me how much money I can put in church, and they done told me what's coming my way, and ain't now one of this stuff never happened in my life, period, because it wasn't from God. God will confirm to you. Trust me what I'm saying. This is the real deal. Forget about these false prophets because they know I'm telling the truth. God will confirm to you first. See, that's the difference when you look in the Old Testament and then when you look at when Christ is on the scene now. Man, you see prophets all over. You see the weeping prophet Jeremiah, prophet Isaiah. You can go on and on about prophets, but when you look at nowadays in the New Testament, the New Covenant we are up under, God himself will speak to you. That's the real love of God that he has for us. He will show you first. I always tell folks like this, why would God directly skip past me and tell you what he have for me when I'm his child? He told me everything I need to know is in his word. So I make these prophets mad, man, not intentionally. Once again, the true word of God is just the true word of God, man. It hurts. It hurts when people hear me talk like this, because they know I'm gonna get the truth out of there. And I'm gonna get the truth out of there until I leave this earth. That's point blank. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. We need more people to stand up on the word of God, because these false prophets are deceiving many. I told y'all about that wide gate in Matthew also. Jesus spoke so much in the book of Matthew. He said this wide gate is going to look so beautiful, so convincing. There's going to be a whole lot of people in this gate because they really thinking they're on their way to heaven and they really believe they can get you in. It's going to be a lot of prophets going through that gate. That gate is the gate to destruction. Oh yeah, we're talking about going on their way to hell. Remember, he said it's going to be few in that way to that narrow gate. He was talking about heaven. He said it's going to be few people in heaven. Not many, few. So what did that tell us? It's going to be a whole lot of false prophets in hell. It's going to be a whole lot of fake preachers in hell. It's going to be a whole lot of quote-unquote so-called people faking around calling themselves Christians in hell. He said few going to be in that gate going to heaven. That ain't me talking. That's the word. Look it up for yourself. Matthew chapter 7. Look at verses 13 and 14, and then going on down from 15 and read to the end where he says, everybody saying, Lord, Lord. Y'all know the rest of the story. They ain't going to inherit the kingdom. False prophets using religion to get paid. Taking the word of God and manipulating folks' mind with it. That ain't God, people. Know the master's voice. Know when God is talking to you. And know when Satan is talking to you also. That way you can determine who you need to listen to. But that ain't even no hard question to ask. You should know who you're listening to. But it's sad you got the devil in this earth and Christ in the other earth, and everybody following the devil. I'm too caught on what the preachers say, what the man said. False prophets. Beware of these false prophets using what you done already told them to turn around and tell you something that you done already told them. And they want to make God out of a liar. Oh, man. Judgment Day. Prophesizing is such a beautiful thing. Just like speaking in tongues is such a beautiful thing. There are some people out here, man, that can prophesize to you and will scare you because they be so on point. But I don't need a whole lot of people running up to me once again. I'm not knocking nobody, because God might send a prophet my way next week, and I'm going to know he's telling the truth because I know the true word of God. That's why I don't knock nobody. I listen to anybody, but I can tell when you're lying to me. God gave me that spirit. And you got it too if you are a true Christian. I ain't talking about none of these fake Christians that call themselves Christians, but they always want to stay in the world and be with the world and doing what the world doing. No, true man of God, true woman of God will know. They'll know when that fake spirit coming toward them. They can see it and smell it a mile away. I smell a false prophet coming my way. I can't look at his clothes because the Bible told me he gonna be in sheep clothing, so I gotta look past the clothes. He might be looking good and praying good and preaching good, but I gotta go even deeper than that. Know the tree by their fruits. A good tree can't corrupt bad fruit. It's a lot of bad fruits walking around here, man. Stale. They need to be rotten and thrown away. But back to these false prophets. Beware of them. Everybody call themselves a prophet. Ain't no prophet. I see a lot of lost prophets walking around here. How you gonna be asking everybody else for a direction and you call yourself a prophet and you don't know which way to take the church in, but you can prophesize everybody else's life? And I'm gone on that. God bless.